Good morning. I think I'm going to go up this way here. Well, over here will be good. I think I had a little different plan this morning, but I heard two guys talking behind me, and they're from the US, young men. They were out for a jog, and they were grateful for a few tips where to go, where to run. So the thoughts I have this morning to offer you are from the readings today. You know, there's all kinds of ways to slice the readings. You could have potatoes and you can make pommes frites, or you can have boiled potatoes, or you can have baked potatoes. You can have mashed potatoes and smashed potatoes. So you can do lots of different things just with potatoes, and you can do the same thing with beans and frijoles and many other things. And there are many thoughts in the scripture readings every day, and the scripture readings are so rich, so fascinating, and they touch on very deep chords in our being, who we are, how we relate to others. And just even those two words, our identity and our relationships, seem to come very powerfully to me today in these readings. They're kind of complex and deep. And in both the first reading and the psalm, we have a major drama, tragedy, drama, I don't know what else you could call it. It could be a reality check, because we have our dreams and our desires, our ambitions, our great goals, and our disastrous bankruptcies as human beings. And there we see the human heart. You have that expression there in one of the books we had recently in the readings, how tortuous the human heart is. Sometimes when we see the bankruptcy in other people, we become judgmental and we throw stones. But actually, when we see the bankruptcy in other people, we're actually looking at ourselves in a mirror, and we're getting to know ourselves. We're getting to know who we are. And we're a strange kind of being. We draw our identity. We draw it from sources. We draw it, who are you? How do you identify yourself? What is the meaning of our life? These are like huge questions. And they're not trivia. And sometimes we can also avoid them because they're very compelling in our lives and commanding. Once we have our identity, then it aligns us in very concrete ways. What are the guiding principles of our lives? What do we live up to? Where are we going? What's the life project we have? And obviously, a young person, a teenager, 20-year-old, a 25, 30-year-old, has an angle on that's a huge project to build towards the future. And then a 70 and 80-year-old, a 90-year-old is also going to have a lot in the rear view mirror. And a lot of shaping has already happened. Imagine the cows here, the feast they would have on this grass. And we're not pure angels, because we have a real body that sometimes hurts a lot and sometimes is endowed and blessed with a lot of different satisfactions and pleasures that the Creator has provided for us. And then we're also very productive, and we produce a lot. We arrange our environment. We organize our societies, who we associate with, what we engage with, and we could also derive our identities from those things. Let's say we celebrate a sport called golf. Maybe 500 years ago it didn't even exist. But today somebody's identity is the greatest golfer in the world, or the most famous golfer, or the most miserable golfer in the family. And identity can get hung around that, and we can even get hung up on it. Literally hanged, drawn and quartered on identities that are actually completely ephemeral, completely secondary to who we are. Obviously, golf was a field in which Tiger Woods, what's his name, Tiger Woods? He formed himself as a man, but his humanity transcends by far the golf balls and the golf clubs and the golf courses he played in, or the reports about him in golf magazines, or the money he made through advertisements. And nobody knew about golf 500 years ago. It didn't exist. And we could say the same about a lot of things, about fashion, about movies, celebrity, scientists. Like, what's the greatest identity of Einstein? And somebody might say, well, the theory of relativity. Yeah, very significant contribution, but is that his identity? Where does he hang his worth? If he feels satisfaction about his being, where does he draw it from? Does he draw it from his fame as the developer of the theory of relativity? Or is there another source of his real identity, his golden measure, his gold standard, his maximum value and meaning? That's a great question. Where do we draw our identity from? And then how do we relate to others? Because if Tiger Woods walks into a sports shop, then everybody's looking, they know him immediately. If he walks into some other kind of shop, maybe nobody recognizes him. Hey guys, you want to say hello to the world? You want to say hello to the world? These are two strange guys I met. One of them is a Methodist and one is a Jew. And they're running together in the morning here at the Sea of Galilee. Do you guys have any impressions from your experience? First time here, second time here, third time here?
First time. This is beautiful.
First time?
First time here.
Wow. So what's your story? What's your impression?
It's absolutely beautiful. It's cool as a Christian to be here where.
So now you know he's the Jew.
Right. Be here where Jesus walked. It's meaningful and impactful. It's cool.
And what does our Jewish friend say?
You could just feel, I don't know, the Spirit of God here. It's really special. The neighbors are very friendly. Amen to please, Kelly. Just got the joke after running about a mile.
It's always good to run in the morning. You might get to understand a lot of stuff.
Yeah. So,
Uh-huh.
But yeah. What's the common greeting for I can see English Happy Easter yet.
No. We're 3 weeks ahead of the game. No.
We have a meeting for that.
Yeah. This Jewish guy asked me what I give up for Lent. And his second question is, when I told him how we do it, the live streams, he said, oh, do you have an order in the way you do readings? So I'll put him in touch with one of you guys on the live stream and you can tell him the order of the readings.
That's fantastic.
Okay, well, guys, I'll let you run because it's not a good idea to stop too long when you're jogging. God bless you. See you later.
See you on the mountain tomorrow.
See you later, alligators. Just great fun and great, very joyful people, young people, wonderful, you know. Where do they get their identity? Where does each one get their identity? And here we have the whole story of the golden calf. Oh, there we have a cow. Isn't that great? Look, I was actually wanted to be up on the mountain, but I met those two guys earlier, and we were talking a little bit, so I didn't start the live stream. I didn't get up to where the cows were, but this is really good. And here we got two of them, I think, by the size of oh, that's one. Okay, so imagine, it's as a child on the farm, you know, especially when we got the first bull. The bull had a different mass, a different volume, a different consistency, a different strength and power, and a head that was so strong and determined. And we took great care of the bull, took care of ourselves in the presence of the bull. You needed to watch where he was in the field. You needed to have your distance. You needed to have your recourse if he got a bit into a run. And you had great respect before a bull. And another bull experience I had was in Chicago. at the museum there. I forget what's the name of the museum. It's a famous museum in Chicago, and it has a collection of bulls from Egypt, from way back in biblical times, bulls that were worshipped. And so the whole thing of the golden calf isn't just a pure myth. It's actually obviously tied to myth, but it's a reality. They made gold. There was a kind of metal bulls, but if I remember correctly, I don't think they were ceramic. They were some type of metal, and they're huge. They're monstrous. They're bigger than any bull I've ever seen in reality. Maybe the Belgian Blues would get close when they're really big. It's a breed now that's more common in Ireland. It wasn't there when I was a child. And it's just amazing that human beings would measure themselves against a bull. Well, you can say, okay, you can have cattle ploughing in some cultures. We never did that in Ireland, at least I don't remember it. We had horses to plough. Neighbours did. But the bull had a lot of strength and to draw stuff. I think even the temple was built in Jerusalem with bulls drawing the stone to build the temple. So that power is impressive. Like a little boy is impressed by the power of a stronger man. The Tarzan stories appeal to us. What's our identity? And it's a grass-eating animal becomes our identity. Well, that's the opposite in the spectrum to an angel. And then we have that basic identity that's in the scriptures, made in the image and likeness of God. But the truth of the thing today is not our anger with the poor people that went into and made a golden calf, but with our own selves and the idols we have against which we measure ourselves. Decorations, cosmetics, haircuts. Teenagers are very dependent on pop stars and what's cool, what's fashionable, what other people approve of. And there's a very strong line that Jesus says, I don't take my identity from the praise of people. My identity is doing the will of the Father, because I'm made in his image and likeness. As a human being, I need to look to the Father to have my identity, who I am. And that's also then the base of all my relationships. Because I will respect a bull and I will behave appropriately in the presence of a bull, but I won't say that the bull is my measure. I'll never compete with the bull ploughing a field, but I can't say that the bull is my ideal. I've been blessed and endowed with another level, made in the image and likeness of God. The ability to love, the ability to know the truth, the ability to relate. So many great gifts we have as human beings. And maybe one of the things we can give up in Lent is a false idolatry. You know, all idolatries are false. Idolatry is in itself falsehood, because it's giving ourselves a measure that's not true to us. That's not our truth. That's not our substance. That's not our good. And that's why the Bible comes down so hard on idolatry always. And for some people it could be the type of vehicle they drive. It could be a complex they hang around their neck the whole time and hang themselves on it because somebody disappointed them or hurt them. Your identity is way beyond that. And that's the whole reason of forgiveness as well, that when we do have major hurt and offense, forgiveness frees us from a slavery to the past wound for which we are totally tied to people in a judgmental way, obviously, and in a blaming game, the blame game, and so many other things. There are so many ways to have idolatry. A golden calf that we worship, that we do anything for. It mightn't just be a soccer team that some kids, they live and die for the soccer team. They're so sad when their team loses. They're so sad when their dog dies. And the dog is a precious little present, like a special company. And the man's best friend, that famous proverb, catches a lot about the value of a dog. But some people go totally sad because they lose their dog. Well, come on, a dog is going to be there for 20 years if they have a long life, some of them, and they die. And the thing is, we die too. And so what's my identity when all the things in the world are no longer there to prop my identity, to source my identity, to build me? Some very powerful thoughts today in the readings, people. And then Jesus' very strong lines, very clear, very pure, very substance rich. My identity is the relationship with the Father. People, God bless you. A bit of Mount Arbel sticking up there, the southern cliffs. See you later, alligators. Come on there. There we are.